The man is just a shut-in obsessed with online games, yet he accidentally gets transported into the game world as a slave. However, someone who was once weaker than the frailest chick now possesses base stats that far surpass everyone else's. And, on top of that, 13 hidden traits. It turns out that 3 months ago, after being dumped by his girlfriend of 5 years, he quit his dead-end job in a fit of anger and shut himself in his room to play games all day, numbing himself with pleasure from the virtual world. Pangenia is a virtual reality game that took the world by storm 5 years ago. When it first appeared, its very first announcement promised to grant a single wish to whoever cleared the game. At first, top-tier players all watched with eager anticipation, determined to test whether that promise was real. 5 years passed without a single person clearing the game, and as a result, the number of players dwindled, until in the end only Park Hyun-myung was left playing alone. Online reviews of the game have consistently been negative, and this is due to its excessively high level of difficulty. The bosses are so overwhelmingly powerful that they feel suffocating, making players doubt whether they can be defeated at all. The game has no PK flagging system or violation restrictions, and teammates will always turn on you when driven by profit. NPCs will also hunt down wanted players, and once a player is targeted by powerful NPCs, character deletion becomes inevitable. What angers players most is that once a character dies, everything's completely wiped. Because of the extreme difficulty, most players gradually lost interest. Park Hyun-myung has played this game for 5 years and has cultivated countless powerful characters. But now, the character he controls, equipped with 8 one-of-a-kind artifacts from across the continent, meets its end. However, this character grants him 1.6 million soul points. Keep in mind, since he started playing this game, he'd only managed to accumulate 80,000 soul points, and now he directly gains 1.6 million. That's right, while this game wipes everything from dead characters, it has a unique SP system that converts a dead character's value into points. These points can add various abilities and base stats to new characters. The more soul points invested, the faster the character grows. His girlfriend's departure makes the usually cautious Hyun-myung now want to go all in. With each mouse click, the new character's stats and traits keep stacking. Finally, something called Hidden Fragment appears. System alert, congratulations, player has received an invitation to enter Pangenia. Suddenly, a powerful energy fluctuation appears around Hyun-myung. A voice abruptly enters his ears. Damn gods, I will burn down all the worlds you've created. The stinging pain leaves Hyun-myung confused about what's happening. He only feels his head splitting and vision blurring. In just moments, he collapses to the ground. The computer on the desk blooms with red light. Rows of text emerge, O being brighter than light, darker than darkness, swirling in creation and destruction. May you find happiness within Pangenia. With a crack, the slave master's whip jolts Hyun-myung awake. Damn slave, get up now! If you fall down one more time, I'll throw you to the Hydra Dragon as food. The name Hydra Dragon suddenly makes him realize something. Then he sees endless yellow sand and ground full of slaves. His mind fills with shock. Massive beasts, sturdy shackles. The slave master cracks another whip on his back. What are you muttering about alone? Get back to the group, and if you don't want to die, get up quickly. He shakily climbs to his feet and walks into the crowd. After his emotions settle, he confirms he's been transported into Pangenia because the Hydra Dragon is one of the monsters in it. Then he opens his status window. But these stats surprise him. Not only do all his base stats reach 12, but he also possesses various talents and 13 hidden traits. Before he can investigate further, the ground begins to rumble. Everyone turns to look in one direction, falling into shock. In the distance, a vast dark army is charging straight toward them. Someone in the crowd shouts, "It's the Desert Queen's army! They're about to break the non-aggression treaty and attack us. Everyone snap out of it and prepare to fight. If we keep standing around, we'll all die here." Hyun-myung stares at the woman standing atop the giant beast, his mind reeling with shock. It's the Serpent Princess. At this moment, the system panel announces a main quest. Quest rewards will be distributed based on performance. Failure means death, both in the game and in the real world. In his mind, only one word remains: survive. A rain of swords descends upon them. Whether slaves or slave masters, all die instantly under these attacks. A splash of blood hits Hyun-myung's cheek. Then he activates a hidden trait, Iron Sovereign's Heart, a trait that only appears when all physical talents are maximized. It enables the user to negate fatigue and maintain composure in any circumstance, and quickly adapt to current conditions. Just as he's about to pick up the longsword dropped by the slave master, an enemy soldier charges at him. He raises his sword to kill Hyun-myung. Without hesitation, Hyun-myung grabs the longsword from the ground. The moment he grips the hilt, the blade radiates brilliant light. The sharp sword swings toward the enemy's attack. With a whoosh, the man's body is pierced on the spot. Hidden trait activated, Weapon Master. However, the falling figure draws others' attention. The bald man leading them grips his spear and thrusts forward. "Damn slave, go to hell!" But Hyun-myung severs the spear's sharpest point then and there. The so-called Weapon Master means being able to skillfully wield all weapons, even weapons he's gripping for the first time. Hyun-myung sends the broken spearhead flying, piercing someone's abdomen. However, the Weapon Master trait goes far beyond just that. No matter what weapon it is, he can predict its trajectory with precision. Aiming for its weak spot, Hyun-myung blocks the axe's heavy strike head on. Then he seizes the moment and thrusts his sword. After the blade impales the enemy's chest, Hyun-myung picks up his axe and strikes towards the enemy's head. He's nothing but a slave, but impossibly strong. This makes the others dare not step forward. System alert, due to hidden trait skill effect, weapon proficiency rapidly increases. Sword proficiency reaches level 6, spear proficiency reaches level 6, axe proficiency reaches level 6. In the game, max proficiency is level 10, yet he's already at level 6. Is this the effect of hidden traits? Without these traits backing him up, at his current level he should be long dead. But now he still faces an army of at least 500. Can one person really handle this? The Serpent Princess gazes at the distant desert, falling into memory. From her throne, the Desert Queen fixed her gaze on the Serpent Princess and spoke. The expedition to the demon realm has failed. Is this true, Serpent Princess? After the Serpent Princess calmly acknowledged, the queen continued, if the fools of the central continent learn that our desert city Fazalur had not participated in this expedition, they would pin all the blame on us. We must prevent this. At once, go to the Kalsman Desert and eliminate every last survivor of the defeated expedition. Eradicate everyone who knows Fazalur didn't send troops, along with everything related to this. As long as you complete this smoothly, I'll lift your curse. This is your last chance. Don't disappoint me again. The scene cut back to the present. The Serpent Princess asks the soldier below, is it done? A man replies, his voice trembling. There's one slave still holding out. A slave? This piques her curiosity. The ground is littered with wreckage, severed limbs, and corpses, as if a circle has been drawn around him, a boundary none dares cross. However, he's now drenched in sweat from excessive exhaustion. But the system alert follows, level increased to level 2. Stamina, magic, and fatigue restored. Just as everyone hesitates to advance, a voice comes from behind. All of you, move aside. The figure is actually the Serpent Princess standing atop the giant beast's head. She's finally here. Hyun-myung seems to have anticipated her arrival. Isabella von Dessian. Due to the large level gap, Hyun-myung can only see her status condition and level through the window. Level 8, a level he absolutely cannot defeat right now. In Pangenia, the max level is 10, and the threshold for the strong is level 7, because from level 7 onward, true power gets infinitely amplified, making level gaps nearly impossible to overcome. A level 8 powerhouse counts as among the strongest anywhere. Simply put, this is a level only famous organization leaders can reach. Making Hyun-myung face such an existence now would only result in one-sided, complete annihilation. However, that abnormal status in the Serpent Princess's status bar makes him seem to think of something. At this moment, a slender figure jumps down from the giant beast's head. The skills you displayed just now were quite interesting, but you can die now. Watching the level 8 powerhouse charging at him, Hyun-myung shows no trace of tension. Just as the blade is about to pierce his chest, he lifts the corner of his mouth and speaks, don't you want to break the queen's curse? The dagger's powerful momentum suddenly stops. The blade tip halts just centimeters from Hyun-myung's neck. Isabella reluctantly withdraws her sword. She glares at him fiercely and demands, who the hell are you? Hyun-myung looks into her eyes and speaks, a starbreaker who gazes at the stars and guides others to them. I will help you lift the queen's curse and leave the desert. These words strike a chord deep within Isabella. Seeing her like this, Hyun-myung knows he succeeded. The Starbreaker is an NPC class. Once players advance past level 10, they need his guidance to reach the Transcender realm, though Hyun-myung is no true Starbreaker. To lift the Queen's curse absolutely requires the stellar blessing granted by a Starbreaker. For Isabella, who craves freedom, the swift removal of the curse is a highly tempting offer. As for why Hyun-myung knows she's so desperate to escape this, the reason is simple. Because Isabella was a character he created when playing the game. This is an unfortunate character he had set aside because he misallocated his initial stats. The Queen's curse is a game mechanism that restricts players to specific areas of early game maps. However, characters created by players are born to complete the game, their beings destined to achieve an ending, so she's been trapped here by the Queen's curse. Isabella asks for his name. With a resolute expression, Hyun-myung speaks a name, Randolph. System alert, player has set name. The two fall silent for a moment. Isabella breaks the silence first. I won't kill you for now, but if I find out you dare deceive me, I'll chop you into tiny pieces. Then she tells her subordinate soldiers, take good care of him. He's my mercenary, so serve him with the utmost care. System alert, main quest survival complete. Calculating details. Congratulations, you've achieved the most perfect rating ever. Beginner's luck, the constellation of fortune smiles. Reward upgraded. The constellation of combat scratches its nose and says this is quite impressive. Reward upgraded. After that, Randolph collapses. As night gradually falls, Randolph lies in the bath researching the rewards from completing the quest. He never expected to obtain in one go equipment that only appeared once in the game's 5-year history. The Hydra Dragon's soul and Michaela's sword, essential for early game. But that last item, the shattered Golden Rule Fragment, interests him, along with why the system says reality is synchronizing with Pangenia. At this moment, 3 beautiful young women walk in carrying towels. They smile and say they'll help Hyun-myung bathe. Hyun-myung didn't expect the test to come this quickly. These women are all Isabella's subordinates. If he shows even the slightest reaction, he'll immediately be suspected. Because Starbreakers don't react to desire, so right now he must stay calm. However, the next scene startles him sharply. How is this possible? Gracia and Mint Chocolate, both were teammates from before in Pangenia. He thought they suddenly disappeared because they quit the game. Could they also have been transported into the game like him? Plus, he sees the logout function. Does this mean he can leave? Then Randolph waves his hand, telling the 3 women to leave first. He needs to commune with the stars. If he doesn't commune with the stars at the designated time, he'll lose his Starbreaker powers. His statement leaves the young women speechless. Before they leave, Randolph adds that after communion, he'll go see Isabella. Even he didn't expect such a lame excuse would actually work. Randolph thought he'd be trapped in the game forever. He didn't expect to be able to log out. The instant his finger clicks the logout button. System alert. Logging out. Please place your character in a safe location. Returning to reality, he finds himself still sitting in that familiar chair, wearing the same cheap clothes, everything exactly as before. Hyun-myung rubs his eyes, wondering if he's hallucinating from being addicted to gaming for too long. At that moment, his gaze fell upon the table, where a gleaming golden disc and a cloth pouch lay. Hyun-myung reaches out and grabs the fragment, his mind full of questions. Why would this thing appear in his room? Was everything before actually real? Then he hurriedly stuffs the items into his pocket and prepares to search for the game on his computer. But he discovers he can't find any information related to it. Pangenia's official official website has vanished without a trace, as if into thin air. At this moment, screams come from outside window. A massive mantis is rampaging through the streets, swinging sharp scythes. Police firearms have no effect on it. They radio for backup while trying to stop the giant mantis from advancing. This scene makes Hyun-myung tremble. Why has it become like this? Why are Pangenia monsters appearing here? Just as he is in a panic, the golden rule fragment he just put in his pocket suddenly falls out. Hearing the cries for help and girls screaming outside, he doesn't know what to do. At this moment, his fingers touch the fragment. This suddenly makes him think of something. If monsters from the game can appear in the real world, then can the items he obtained in the game also be used in the real world? The moment he opens the cloth bag, Michaela's accessory and the Hydra Dragon's soul float into the air. Seeing this, Hyun-myung gasps. Then he reaches out and grasps the Hydra Dragon's soul, but there's no reaction. However, Hyun-myung recalls that the shattered golden rule fragment could synchronize reality with Pangenia. The moment he picks up the circular fragment, a goddess in a white gown appears behind him. System alert, player is synchronizing with character. Synchronization complete. Shattered golden rule fragment, remaining time 24 hours. The streets are already littered with corpses. A mother desperately runs with her child in her arms. But unexpectedly, several massive stones fall from the sky. At this critical moment, she throws the child from her arms, but she herself is crushed beneath the massive stone. This catches the attention of a woman nearby. She rushes over asking if the mother is okay. The mother struggles to say she's fine and asks her to take her child first. The woman weighs the pros and cons. In the end, she can only apologize. I'm sorry. I'll definitely protect your child. But the next instant, she seems to sense something. She turns her head and discovers that giant mantis has appeared behind her. Watching that ferocious maw lunging forward to snap at her, she burns with unwillingness. Am I really going to die like this? Suddenly, a figure gripping a sword severs the mantis beast's head. Randolph's eyes emit blue light. He slices the ferocious beast into pieces effortlessly. The woman opens her eyes. With relief, she thinks, I survived. I'm alive. But who is this man before her? At this moment, another mantis beast charges toward Randolph. Seeing him not moving at all, the woman shouts loudly for him to watch out. Behind him, with a roar, a dragon head bites down on the mantis monster. This lets the woman breathe a sigh of relief, yet a flicker of confusion stirs in her chest. What is this? At this moment, a multi-headed dragon beast appears behind Randolph. He lifts his foot and plants it firmly on one of the dragon heads. The woman stares dumbfounded at this scene, as if she's watching some 3D movie. She can't help but wonder if she's dreaming. However, the girl in her arms suddenly breaks free and runs toward her mother. Because someone is holding off the monster's attacks, the crowd around them stops fleeing and tries to help rescue the mother. Randolph swings his sword, each attack bringing a spray of blood and carnage. The giant mantis collapses powerlessly to the ground, its body torn to shreds by the 9-headed dragon. In fact, this monster invasion isn't limited to South Korea. Creatures have emerged all over the world, wantonly destroying human civilization and slaughtering innocent civilians. But besides monsters, warriors wearing armor and wielding swords have also appeared in people's view. These warriors possess power beyond ordinary people. They can easily slay those monsters that weapons cannot harm. This seems to herald a new era. In a room of a certain building, a man looks at news reports on his phone screen about monster invasions and warrior appearances. He mutters to himself, what a bunch of fools, wasting shattered golden rule fragments like this. He's one of Pangenia's top players, character ID the Butcher. If Pangenia in reality eventually become one, then everyone will become rivals, and those who obtain more golden rule fragments will naturally become the protagonist of this era. But something that happened recently caught his attention. The ranking that hadn't changed in 2 full years actually updated, and with an absurd score of 220 points, jumped to first place. Could this Randolph guy be Spectre? The so-called Spectre, or Ghost, no one knows his real name. In rumors, he has hundreds of game characters and assembled a Demon Realm expedition force composed of NPCs. He was the first person to almost clear the game, but for certain reasons the expedition ultimately failed. Nevertheless, he remains Pangenia's acknowledged #1 expert. After the strongest character dies, they get summoned in. The moment the expedition failed, he must have been summoned into Pangenia. Although entering Pangenia changes appearance and resets equipment, talents from previous characters can be inherited. So someone who can achieve this level must be Spectre. At this time, Randolph also falls into contemplation. The monsters appearing in reality and those players who were summoned in are completely as they were in Pangenia. This series of events suddenly makes him understand. He almost cleared the Demon Realm expedition with his strongest character. From a certain point on, Pangenia's difficulty had suddenly skyrocketed. NPCs once friendly now turned their blades against him, thwarting his progress in unpredictable ways. If those were all controlled by players who were summoned like him, then someone must have already targeted him. The boundary between reality and Pangenia has disappeared. He can't hide by staying logged out. To ensure safety on both sides, he must become stronger as quickly as possible. Isabella watches Randolph push the door open and speaks, "Have you finished communing with the stars?" Randolph responds, "I came here to honor my agreement with you, but I have one condition. Isabella, take me to the sanctuary." Although Isabella exclaims, asking if he's insane, he understands in his heart that if the first main quest was survival, the second must be obtaining a class, so he must go to that place. The star is there. This is what Randolph tells Isabella. Under the veil of moonlight, wreckage and severed limbs litter the path behind Isabella. She simply reaches out and wipes the blood from her dagger. At the sight of this, Randolph can't help but feel a surge of relief. Taking down the guards in mere minutes, having such an ally is truly reassuring. It turns out that just a few hours ago, when he spoke those words to Isabella, Isabella exclaimed that he must have lost his mind. But he said, "The star is there. It's actually been hidden away. But as long as he finds that star, he can lift her curse." Although Isabella urgently states that the sanctuary isn't somewhere just anyone can enter, Randolph tells her this is her last chance, so Isabella has no choice but to compromise. Then they walk down a stairway leading underground. System alert, players entered hidden map, desert sanctuary. Rewards will be awarded based on exploration progress. Warning, your current level is below the sanctuary's recommended level. Warning, area contains poison gas and demonic energy. Insufficient magic resist will prove fatal. Hidden trait Giant's magic resistance activated. You are immune to poison gas and demonic energy. Main quest 2 is issued, obtain a class. You may acquire a class at the sanctuary. Rewards will be awarded based on the class rank. A faint smile curves Randolph's lips. This place holds the key to that class. At this moment before them is a bottomless abyss. Isabella silently looks at the scene before her. After closing her eyes and thinking for a moment, she starts to object that he's going the wrong way and turns to go, but Randolph stops her. Seeing this, she says, that bridge is a trap. The moment you step on it, you'll be swept away. Surely you realize that? Randolph denies her words. Are you scared? Although Isabella is annoyed, she only claims her feet slipped. At those words, Randolph squats down right where he stands. Alright, looks like that's that. Climb on my back. Isabella's face flushes red as she tries to refuse. But Randolph tells her there's no time now. If the queen discovers those dead guards, she'll definitely send people to hunt you down. After weighing the pros and cons, she gets on his back, stating that if her legs weren't numb, she absolutely wouldn't let him carry her. Then the next moment, the direction Randolph walks is completely different from what she expected. This makes Isabella cry out, asking if he's going the wrong way. Without a second thought, Randolph jumps toward the bottomless abyss. Rare trait activated, sudden mutation. This is a trait that allows the user to see what ordinary people cannot. Seeing that Randolph seems to know this place like the back of his hand and can easily avoid various traps to find hidden paths, Isabella grows even more puzzled. How does he know things that even she, Paisamo's second in command, doesn't know? At this moment, Randolph suddenly speaks. Who would have thought Paisamo's second in command is afraid of heights? This gives Isabella a strange feeling. It's as if they've known each other for a long time. Have we met before? Isabella asks. Randolph responds, no, we haven't met in the same space. Isabella asks in confusion what he means. He continues, it means I could see you, but you couldn't see me. Then they appear in a garden. If memory serves, he knows what comes next. Rumble, the hills around them suddenly shake violently, as if something is about to break out. The next moment, 3 massive golems burst from the ground. The runes on their chests radiate dazzling light. Randolph assesses the high-level golems and knows that, at his level, a single hit would be fatal. Just as those golems charge forward, Isabella places both hands behind her waist. She smiles. In an instant, the golem stone form shatters into a web of fractures. With a violent crash, explodes. Isabella turns her head and slowly speaks a few words. It'll be over soon. She leaps, using the hail of falling debris as stepping stones to propel herself upward. Her small figure pierces through the massive golem's body. Seeing this, Randolph nods in satisfaction. Is this the legendary auto battle? Isabella needs no orders from Hyunmyoung to effortlessly shatter the stone golems. Things that are still formidable for Hyunmyoung are no match for Isabella. Just after she destroys all the golems, a system window appears before Randolph. Player has obtained class Golem Crafter. Except this class, in Pangenia, classes that can summon creatures to fight are rare. Although Golem Crafter is extremely rare, it's not the class he wants, so he turns it down without hesitation, because there's someone else who can grant him the class he wants. At this moment, black miasma suddenly fills the air. An even more massive figure is about to loom over them both. System alert, the ancient king, mountain lord who buries the nameless star, is enraged at the intruders. Finally here. Randolph seems to have anticipated this situation. The Titan guardian of the stars, ancient king Gramute. The system alerts again, warning, player's level is far below the recommended level. This sense of oppression is completely different from anything he'd experienced in-game. Just as Isabella thinks Randolph wants her to help him deal with this guy, Randolph tells her not to worry. This guy may look fierce, but he's actually very gentle. Before the words even finish, the ancient king charges at Isabella. Isabella is caught completely off guard by its sudden attack. She falls flat on her rear. This suddenly makes Randolph feel somewhat embarrassed. How strange. He remembers the one who guided him before was very friendly. The ancient king suddenly speaks, "Oh, challenger of the sanctuary, now defeat me and prove your qualification." Then a tail swipe lashes out toward Isabella. Those who cannot prove their qualification will sleep here forever. Randolph remembers when he cleared this before, this situation didn't occur. Did something happen? Then suddenly he remembers something. Ancient King Gramut is the guardian of the stars and also a colossal titan. He gained intelligence after being influenced by the stars, and back then, when he cleared this place, he used William, a level 10 5-star transcender. He remembers that when William arrived at the sanctuary, Gramut had been docile, even leading him to the star. William must have already met the requirements Gramut spoke of. Simply put, Gramut attacks those weaker than him. And William at that time was indeed much stronger. Under the heavy slam of the serpent tail, Isabella flies backward. She crashes hard to the ground. The sanctuary's miasma hampers her movements, leaving her sluggish and uncoordinated. Perhaps it was a mistake from the start. She was deceived by that starbreaker and rashly entered this place. At this critical moment, Randolph shouts, "Stop, Gramut!" The ancient king's body suddenly halts in midair. His serpent eyes turn toward Randolph. "How do you know my true name?" Randolph speaks resolutely, "It's me. Your master William has returned." But seeing how pathetic Randolph's current power is, Gramut looks down on him with utter disdain. "You claim to be William?" The moment the words are out, he opens his serpent maw and bursts into laughter. "Weak human, do you even know what you're saying? William is a man of true power, worthy that I serve as my master. Though he failed in the Demon Realm expedition. He is not someone a weakling like you gets to mention." The terrifying maw lunges straight at Randolph. Facing this, Randolph remains unfazed and speaks calmly. "Honor our pact, Gramut." The serpent's jaws freeze the instant he speaks. "Insignificant insect. How do you know of the pact's existence? That pact should be known to no one. Gramut's true name and the pact signed with him are absolute secrets, known to virtually no one. But that only bound the former William. The current Randolph isn't affected by any of it. The giant serpent speaks, asking who he really is. At this moment, Randolph doesn't expect him to believe he's William. If you want to know who I am, then lead the way. The star will prove it. Gramwood's eyes still burn with contempt. You? You are not even worthy to stand before the star. Though Randolph knows his strength is weak right now, he still speaks resolutely. What's wrong? Afraid I'll actually get the star and prove I'm your master? Amused by such arrogance, Gramute sneers. Laughable. You are so frail I could crush you between my teeth in a single bite. However, I can take you to the star. I don't believe you're William, but as personally disposing of someone who knows of the pact doesn't sit right with me, let the star deal with you instead. Soon after, Isabella stares at the scene before her, utterly shocked. The star is here? Randolph says with certainty. That's right, what's placed on the altar is the star. To be precise, it's Rhea's skull. In the Pangenia continent, stars refer to the body fragments of the twin goddess Rhea. There are 32 pieces in total scattered across the continent. Players see them as the foundation to reach the Transcender realm. The star remains in Randolph's hand for less than a moment, before blazing flames ignite, engulfing him completely. Isabella is terrified by the scene, calling out loudly to ask if Randolph is alright. Gramute watches it all with mockery in his eyes. I already told you someone like you will be burned to death just by approaching the star. Little does he know, Randolph within the flames hears every word clearly. This damned bastard. Actually, there's only one situation where the star kills players, using a bug to bypass Gramute and obtain the star directly. But he didn't bypass anything. But the real question now is whether he'll get the class he's after. In theory, claiming a star while classless should trigger that specific awakening, but he's never actually done it himself. It's just something he happened to hear about. At this moment, Randolph seems to hear a voice. Void, Deft Hands, Omnimaster, Giant's Magic Resistance, Druid's Nature Affinity, Weapon Master, Glutton, Iron Sovereign's Heart, Beast Lord, Golden Grace, Mutation, Great Sage, Destiny. As the voice fades, the skull transforms into a surge of power, merging into Randolph's body. System notification. Player's mana has been converted to star power. Acquired active skill Star Claw level 1 and passive skill Stellar Blessing level 1. Gain Star Enhancement, all stats +5. The more stars an inheritor possesses, the stronger they become. Star Enhancement never fades. Class acquired, Stellar Inheritor. Isabella in the distance is stunned by this sight. Randolph speaks at this moment. Isabella, if your curse is lifted, what do you want to do? Isabella responds with a blush. Leave the desert and find my family. With that, Randolph continues. I will grant you the star's blessing to leave the desert, but I have one condition. You must work for me for 1 year. Then I'll grant you your freedom and help you find your family. These words remind her of the queen she once served. Just as her thoughts waver, Randolph's hand rests on her shoulder. I'm not the queen, and I won't deceive you. That familiar warmth floods her cheeks once more. She bites her teeth together, as if making some sort of resolution. I will follow you. Isabella kneels on one knee before Randolph. Randolph is very satisfied with her answer. This is a wise choice. And Gramute, you said the star's master is your master, didn't you? The previously arrogant ancient king now responds with a trembling voice. System notification. Main quest 2. Obtain a class completed. Total score 230. Player's name will be inscribed in the Hall of Heroes. The lucky constellation favors you even more. Quest rewards significantly increased. Several constellations in the 100-star hall have begun watching you. At this moment, in a cafe in the real world, 2 identical-looking men sip coffee while conversing in low voices. That Randolph is definitely the Spectre, no doubt. The first quest could be coincidence, but the second quest absolutely cannot be. 5 years. The Spectre has finally appeared. Now things will get interesting. Can we find him first? The woman shrugs. How? We've been searching for him all these years and never found him, have we? The twin speaks up with doubt. That's because he wasn't a real player before. Now that he's entered the game, we can definitely find him. Perhaps we can try baiting. The veiled auction should be open now. Baiting is a kind of code among players. It means listing high-stat gear at the veiled auction and then using a twin rune to track the buyer and pinpoint their location. Some clueless newcomers, lured by the cheap prices, buy the equipment, only to end up being tracked or killed because of it. The strategy works because to rank first in the third main quest, you need powerful equipment. But the Spectre is the game's walking encyclopedia. He definitely knows about the twin rune's effect and won't fall for it. However, the woman shakes her head. If it's the Spectre, he might deliberately take the bait. Though that expedition failed, his determination is truly admirable. He's no ordinary man. Maybe after discovering its bait, he'll still buy in and kill them one by one. That's the Spectre I know. Then we'll kidnap him. No, invite him to our guild. At this moment, in a dark corner, a system window appears. You have fallen off the main quest 2, class acquisition leaderboard. Special rewards have been revoked and access to the veiled auction is now denied. The butcher stares at the sudden system notification, brow furrowed. Randolph, 230 points. What class could he possibly have to score so high? Can't use the veiled auction for now, but that's fine, because rankings can change. He just needs to kill anyone on the leaderboard to get back on it. System notification. Side quest. Explore the sanctuary completed. Rewards being distributed. At this moment, Randolph listens to the system distributing rewards while riding Gramute at high speed. This trip went smoother than expected, leaving and exploring 2 birds with 1 stone. Just then, Gramute's serpent head twists. He spots the queen's guards rushing this way. He speaks to inform Randolph. Master, invaders have reached the sanctuary. Isabella guesses they must be the queen's forces. She asks Randolph what he plans to do now. Though the queen won't personally appear, their numbers are quite considerable. Even with the guardian here, we probably can't hold out for long. Randolph speaks without the slightest panic. Why would we fight alongside the guardian? His words make it dawn on her. Isabella suddenly understands exactly what he means. Then the two use the shadow cloak from earlier rewards to quickly leave. leaving a completely dumbfounded Gramute behind. After putting some distance between them and the sanctuary, Isabella turns to him. Are we really going to make it out? Randolph explains to her. Didn't you say the queen isn't inside? Then it should be fine. It's impossible for all their pursuers to enter the sanctuary. At most, it's just the advance team. If we get trapped here and the main force arrives to surround the sanctuary, we won't be able to escape. They'll choose to chase us no matter what, so it's best to leave here quickly. Besides, the Guardian can't leave the sanctuary anyway, so let's just run. To leave this place, they must use the teleportation gate at the desert's edge. Though Isabella's curse has been lifted, the real problem is, activating the teleportation gate requires time. Isabella stares at the gate before her in shock. Is it through here? Randolph confirms exactly. We just need to pass through here to leave the desert, but it needs some time to activate the gate, about half a day. As you can see, there's no place to hide here. Though the advanced troops went to the sanctuary, will be discovered by them sooner or later. Though he knows this is important, he doesn't know what might happen in the real world, so he has no choice but to log off. So he tells Isabella that during this time, he needs to commune with the star. Seeing this, Isabella unhesitatingly grips the short blade at her waist. Leave this to me. I'll protect you. Meanwhile, in reality, his ex-girlfriend who chose to break up with him and kept him as her backup suddenly remembers his value. Because to her, though Park Hyun-young is incompetent and spineless, he excels at being obedient. So after Ju Seo-yeon gets discarded by her new wealthy boyfriend, she thinks of her backup ex-boyfriend, Park Hyun-myung. Hyun-myung asks, puzzled, you suddenly wanted to meet, what's this about? Seo-yeon gestures for him to relax. Sit down first. Perhaps it's been too long since they last met, she can't help but notice how different Hyun-myung seems now. He tells her to cut straight to the chase. Seo-yeon presses her lips together. He seems so different now, but in this one way he hasn't changed. Before, whenever I called you, you'd come immediately. It's the same now. Actually, this is the reason I like you. After breaking up with you, I realized what a good person you are. I've been missing you all this time. How have you been lately? Have you missed me? However, Hyun-myung only stays silent for a moment, before standing up. Since you're done talking, I'll be leaving now. Seeing Hyun-myung about to leave, Seo-yeon panics. Wait, didn't you hear what I said? I said I miss you. Are you still angry about what I said when we broke up? Hearing this, Hyun-myung turns his head and speaks coldly. Ju Seo-yeon, does your boyfriend know you came to see me today? Did you only remember to delete friends? Please clear your social media posts next time. As soon as the words fall, he turns and leaves without hesitation. If this were before, Hyun-myung would have been too timid to even speak, but somehow this time he's so calm. Perhaps Randolph's personality has influenced him. Just then, a woman's scream catches his attention. If you keep following me, I'm calling the police. A man grabs her hair and pulls out a utility knife from his pocket. What are you looking at, you punks? Never seen a fight before? You woman dare to look down on me? I'm going to kill you. Just as the blade descends, Hyun-myung grabs the man's wrist. The woman who had already accepted death suddenly opens one eye upon hearing this sound. Hyun-myung squeezes hard while telling him not to go too far. The powerful force makes the man cry out in pain instantly. Without using the shattered Golden Rule Fragment, Hyun-myung feels his current strength could easily crush the man's wrist. Then he tosses the man aside and asks the woman if she's alright. The woman, grateful to be alive, can't find the words to thank him. Hyun-myung looks at the woman's face. He suddenly remembers this is the person he saved last time when using the fragment. No wonder she looks somewhat familiar. At this very moment, the man who had collapsed on the ground has somehow gotten up and lunges at him with the utility knife. But Hyun-myung, as if prepared, sidesteps to dodge the man's attack. Then he extends his right hand and slams the man unconscious to the ground. Moments later, police load the man to their car. After understanding the situation, they prepare to take both Hyun-myung and the man back to the station. Seeing this, Kim Ha-na steps forward to defend Hyun-myung, but the police still want to take him back for a statement. Though Hyun-myung doesn't want to waste time like this, the officers say they have no choice. This is their duty. At this moment, Ha-na pulls out her press credentials and hands them to the police. I'm Kim Ha-na, a reporter from the TV station. There's no need to detain him. Talk to me, the witness. The two officers freeze when they hear she's a TV reporter. If this gets on the news, they're in trouble. Just then, people around begin discussing. Isn't she the woman from that social media post who saved a child from monsters? She was even on TV, right? The name Kim Ha-na too. Yeah, that must be her. The officers know better than to cross Ha-na, so they back off. Before leaving, Ha-na expresses her gratitude to Hyun-myung. She also pulls out a business card and hands it to him. I'm a reporter specializing in Dimension Warriors. This leaves Hyun-myung somewhat confused. Then she explains. Dimension Warriors refer to those unidentified people who appeared and defeated monsters on the day of the monster invasion. Everyone calls them Dimension Warriors. It dawns on Hyun-myung why they are called Dimension Warriors. The idea of a dimensional invasion simply makes more sense than the whole world merging with a game. Then Ha-na asks Hyun-myung for a business card. As soon as she speaks, Ju Seo-yeon tightly grabs Hyun-myung's arm, wanting to claim she's his girlfriend. But unexpectedly, Hyun-myung directly shakes her off and continues telling Ha-na he doesn't have a business card. So after Ha-na gets his phone number, she tells Hyun-myung, if you have time someday, let's have coffee or dinner together. My treat. Seo-yeon on the side sees the two completely ignoring her and is furious inside. Shortly after leaving, Ha-na receives a phone call. On the other end is her superior, saying he recently received an important interview assignment and needs to send Ha-na. This puzzles Ha-na. Why would she interview Grayson, who saved a country and is hailed as a hero? However, the supervisor doesn't know the reason either, only telling her the hero wants to meet Ha-na, and also says he'll personally come here. At this moment in Pangenia, before Randolph lies aground covered in wreckage, all pursuers from Paizamo. However, This has also left Isabella's stamina completely depleted. She can't hold out much longer. Seeing this, the man in charge speaks. As long as the serpent princess hands over the slave behind her and returns to the queen's side, Her Majesty will treat this incident as if it never happened. However, Isabella has no intention of heeding him and resolutely stands before Randolph. So Paisimo's pursuers stop talking and charge forward, intending to kill them both. At this critical moment, the stone gate emits a dazzling blue light. The teleportation gate has activated. Randolph appears at Isabella's side at precisely this moment. Thank you, Isabella. The exhausted Isabella asks Randolph if he's finished communing with the star. Hyun Myung nods. Randolph extends his hand. Since you've protected me as agreed, I will also honor our agreement. As his palm clenches, countless starlight spreads from his fist. Game notification. Player has activated Stellar Inheritor exclusive skill Star Claw, consuming all star power. Star Claw duration 41 seconds. Those soldiers are all engulfed by the powerful starlight. When the power reaches its peak, their bodies gradually turn to ash. Isabella now understands the Starbreaker's power. Looking at the teleportation array, her eyes fill with excitement and anticipation. Randolph turns and asks her, if you want to regret it now, there's still time. Isabella smiles with pursed lips. Without hesitation, she follows Randolph through the teleportation gate, the Golden City, Arcana. This is a city where wealth determines everything. Here, without wealth in the hundreds of millions, you're a nobody. As Isabella stares dumbfounded at this extremely prosperous city, Randolph reminds her, this place is called the Golden City. Here, even buying daily necessities requires gold. Hearing this, Isabella pulls out a cloth pouch. If it's just gold, then no need to worry too much. I brought 300 gold. Randolph looks at her confident expression and bluntly deflates her. With that much gold, it should be enough for food and lodging for one night. These words fill Isabella with disbelief. In the desert, 300 gold coins are enough to buy 10 slaves. Randolph explains that the Kulsman Desert is considered a backwater here, leaving Isabella at a loss. Randolph points to a building nearby with a grin. Why worry? There's an ATM right over there. Isabella follows his thumb and discovers a massive casino. This leaves her frozen in place for a moment. Yet Randolph says with great confidence, no need to worry, I'm quite lucky. That's right. In this Golden City, there's only one rule. Money determines everything, and the place where all the wealth of this Golden City converges is the famous Hudson's Casino. The doorman at the entrance blocks their path, his tone flat. Sorry, sir. Those with less than 10,000 gold in savings may not enter. This shocks Isabella. She moves closer to Randolph, asking why he never mentioned the savings requirement before. After changing clothes, she now only has 100 gold left. At this moment, the man at the entrance reminds them again. If you have no savings, please don't obstruct other guests. Before the man can finish, Randolph produces an item and lays it before him. I have no savings, but I offer this as collateral, and with this item, it should be more than enough. The gem before his eyes makes his body tremble. Then he immediately and politely offers to escort Randolph to the very important person room. When Isabella asks what he gave, Randolph says it's just an amulet, the Fairy Queen's Tear. It's one of the rewards he obtained when visiting the sanctuary. On the market, it's worth at least 1 million gold coins. This puzzles Isabella even more, asking how he could so casually hand over something so precious. Hearing this, Randolph turns and tells her, no worries. As long as I win, it will be returned anyway. As the wheel keeps spinning, the little white balls continuously pop out. The crowd erupts in shock. Who is this guy? He won again? This is crazy. Is he some kind of gambling legend reborn? He started with only 250 gold. Now it's already exceeded 1,400,000. Actually, the reason Randolph can be so certain of victory is entirely due to his Golden Grace trait. At this moment, the man who politely invited Randolph in earlier says with a trembling body, Sir, we can let you keep all your winnings, but please don't enter Hudson's Casino again in the future. Turns out, since they entered, everyone who bet alongside Randolph has left empty-handed. If this continues, the casino will definitely collapse. Under the solemn gazes of others, he continues, So sir, please leave now. A wave of killing intent rolls off Isabella, but Randolph merely raises a hand. If that's the case, then I'll take my leave. But before leaving, let me speak with your boss. The man initially wants to refuse Randolph's request and have him leave quietly. But the man is told it's not that he wants to talk, it's that the boss will definitely want to see him. At this moment, a man quietly gazes at the dazzling gem before him. Then he extends his hand and uses the level 8 skill observer's hand. Through the skill's analysis, he learns the gem before him is undoubtedly authentic, but he's curious about who exactly. The so-called Fairy Queen's Tear is an item only carried by fairy knights. Setting aside the fact that finding a fairy knight is already extremely difficult, killing one requires at least 3 level 10 or higher powerful warriors, making obtaining it extraordinarily challenging. He's been searching the market for years without finding even one, never expecting it would come to his door today. At this moment, a knock interrupts his thoughts. Mr. Hudson, the person who left the amulet as collateral wishes to meet you, and he claims you'd very much like to see him. Randolph takes his seat at the tea table, while Isabella remains standing beside him. Hudson keeps observing the person before him. After contemplating this possessor of the Fairy Queen's Tear for a moment, he says, I heard you said I'd want to see you. What does that mean? Randolph picks up his teacup, indicating there's no hidden meaning. Just the literal one. You definitely want to see me because you need the amulet I left, don't you? The words land, and Hudson gives a violent shudder. It seems you've heard rumors of me searching everywhere for that rare amulet. Yes, I do indeed want to purchase the Fairy Queen's Tear. Seeing him admit it directly, Randolph doesn't beat around the bush. As long as the price is right, I don't mind selling it. This makes Hudson state his price directly. 2 million gold. How's that? I believe this price is very generous. Isabella on the side is shocked, but immediately after, Randolph shocks her even more. 20 million gold. Hearing this, Hudson surprisingly doesn't refuse directly but says, 20 million gold can buy a grand mansion in Central Arcana. No matter how rare the Fairy Queen's tear is, it's just an amulet for refining weapons. So do you really think it's worth that much? And I can't pay such a high price for a personal collection. But Randolph's next sentence makes his tea-holding hand suddenly tremble. If it were really just a collectible, then indeed it wouldn't be worth this price. But the Fairy Queen's tear is not merely an amulet to you. It's also what you need to enter the city council. In Hudson's silence, Randolph continues. To enter the city council, you need to hit level 10. But here's the catch. You have to reach it through your own power. For a non-combatant like you, that's practically impossible. That's where the Fairy Queen's tier comes in. It strips away equipment level requirements, letting you use high-tier gear to make up for what you lack in combat stats. And the real reason a mere casino owner wants to enter the city council must be to win the approval of your fiancée Serengeti's family, right? The so-called Serengeti is the only daughter of the Duke of Deterrence from Balan Kingdom. She's hailed as the pure white knight, commanding 500 cavalry and also a companion who embarked on the Demon Realm expedition alongside him. She's also the capable assistant who saved him from the Demon King at the cost of her own legs. He once thought Serengeti's actions were merely scripted events, because all of this occurred in the game world Pangenia. But after the character William died, he suddenly descended into the game world. The fusion of game and reality made him realize some NPCs might also be players. So this also reminded him of what Serengeti said before. If I don't make it back from this expedition, please take this back for me, Captain. Back then, upon receiving Serengeti's necklace, he wondered what it was. Only through the system notification did he learn it was a precious necklace with a photo of Serengeti and her fiancé Hudson embedded inside. At that time, he wondered if this had always been part of her backstory. In Serengeti's original scripted storyline, she had no fiancé. Yet this NPC, bound to predetermined cycles, naturally incorporated a sudden backstory addition. Then Hudson must be, like himself, a player assimilated by this world. At this moment, Hudson says with shock that he's never told anyone about this, asking Randolph how he discovered it. Knowing that Hudson is very likely a player who entered this world earlier than himself, Randolph wants to obtain as much information as possible and understand this world and other players' situations. So he extends his hand toward the sky, saying he didn't know about this. He only heard about it. The stars told him. Hudson's skepticism is immediate. What are you claiming to be some kind of prophet now? At this moment, Randolph suddenly speaks. I'm not forcing you to believe, but I can help you achieve what you desire. And I don't need your money. Just accept one simple condition. Tell the stars the story of your life. After listening, I'll decide whether to help you. However, every part of the story must be true, because the stars favor sincere people. My own story? This makes Hudson silent for a moment. Actually, Randolph knows the other party might be wondering if he's a hidden hunter, because casually revealing personal information is extremely dangerous, making this a difficult choice. Hunters are NPCs who specifically hunt players. They call players sinners and execute them. Countless players have perished at their hands. Player investigations into them have almost all ended in failure, ultimately forcing players to remain cautious. In Pangea, revealing personal details is a death sentence. That's why most players mask who they are. Randolph has no intention of exposing himself, yet he's sure Hudson will agree, because to Hudson, Serengeti is not merely an ordinary person. Hudson looks at the girl reflected on the pendant. He finally decides to tell Randolph his life story. This matter must begin with Serengeti, because everything I want and everything I'm trying to accomplish is connected to her. Serengeti is a brave knight who joined the Demon Realm expedition led by the 8 heroes. This shocks Randolph immensely. 8 heroes? What are you talking about? Wasn't the Demon Realm expedition led by William? Hudson first says sorry, then continues. William is indeed famous, but the expedition was jointly led by the 8 heroes. As everyone knows, the expedition failed due to internal conflict among the 8 heroes. This greatly puzzles Randolph. Internal conflict? What on earth is that? He asks Hudson who these 8 heroes are. Hudson shifts uncomfortably. They're all legendary figures. One of them is the strongest person, second only to William himself, Grayson.